Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday to you, wherever you happen to be watching this video around the world. Maybe it's Saturday by now, I don't know. Maybe you're watching this months in advance when Celtic have got an unassailable 10-point lead at the top of the Scottish Premiership. However you are, I hope you're well. Yesterday's video was, well, it was a little bit of a piss take, if I'm honest. I had a lot of fun recording it though. Hopefully some of you, at least one of you, had a lot of fun watching it as well. Certainly we got a lot of comments saying it was fun, a lot of ripping into my Aussie accent, which I thought was absolutely bang on, by the way. But today we're going to make things a good bit more serious because there is serious stuff happening at Celtic Football Club. Tomorrow we face, well, the second most successful team in recent years in Scotland. That's St Johnstone at Celtic Park. Looking forward to that game. We will touch on that in the end of this video. We'll hear what Ange had to say in his pre-match press conference. Well, you won't hear literally, but you'll get a feeling for what he had to say. And I promise not to do any accents, by the way. And also, I'll predict the team that will start the game tomorrow. But before we get on to that, we have got so much on today's video. So much recent, latest news from Celtic to round up. We've got stuff on Karamoko Dembele, Jozo Simunovic, the Real Betis home game. We've even got chat about our next signing from Japan. In fact, we're going to start with that just after the intro sting. But first, if you want latest Celtic news with a video every single day, post-match live reactions to every single Celtic match, and Celtic legends like Jackie McNamara and Scott McDonald every single week, then why not subscribe to 67 Hail Hail? It's getting crowded at 67 Hail Hail Towers. We have nearly got 21,000 of you subscribed to the channel. So if you're watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, then subscribe. Right, the big news that's got a lot of people talking today is that Celtic seem like they're going to sign another player from Japan in January. Now, that's hardly groundbreaking news, and neither is the fact that it's Daizen Maeda, a player who I actually mentioned on the video I did just about a week ago, looking at 5 J-League talents who could move to Celtic in January. The Times it was who had the report come out on Friday morning. They say that Celtic are, quote, confident of a deal being done, and they also say that Japanese sources expect a deal to be done. Maeda has worked with our wonderful leader Ange in the past at Yokohama F. Marinos. In fact, Ange signed him for them in 2020, last year. He can play off the left, he can play off the right, he can play up front, and he can even play just off a striker. So he's very versatile, and it seems from the outset like it would be a pretty good deal for Celtic to do. He actually just turned 24 on Wednesday, and he is 5'8", so not particularly tall, but puts himself about and is certainly very quick, gets into a lot of sprints, but more on that in a wee second. First of all, we're just going to run through his career so far. It's kind of difficult to find out too much information about Maeda. His Wikipedia is pretty sparse. There's the occasional article on him, scouting reports, but they seem to be from like 2018 or 2019 when he first kind of broke onto the scene. So I've done my best to piece everything together to give you a picture of what this guy has done so far. He started his pro career with Matsumoto Yamaga, making his debut as a teenager in 2016. That was in the second tier of Japanese football, but it was really the next season when he made his proper breakthrough during a loan spell at Mito Hollyhock. These are real team names, by the way. He scored 13 goals in 36 appearances for them. That was also in the second tier of Japanese football. He then returned to Matsumoto the following year, scoring 7 goals in 29 games as they earned promotion to the top league in Japan. He played half a season, sometimes playing, sometimes sitting on the bench. Decent enough time of it in the top tier of Japan for Matsumoto before making quite an ambitious switch over to Portugal to play for Maritimo, a team that a lot of us will probably have heard of. He only scored 3 goals in 23 league matches for them before returning back to Japan, but he'd clearly done enough in his career to that point for our wonderful leader Ange to snap him up while he was in charge of Yokohama F. Marinos. His first season saw him net 3-23 for Yokohama, but this season he scored 18 goals in 30 matches for them. He's the top scorer in the J-League. Now, I don't know if we can read too much into the fact that he's had such a good season after Ange left the club, although some of his goals, quite a lot of them actually, did come when Ange was in charge. He's been capped twice for Japan, and he played for them at their home Olympics in the summer, even scoring a late goal in their 4-0 win over France. A pretty impressive result, that. The big thing for me about this potential deal is that Maeda has worked under Ange in the past, and even at the moment at Yokohama F. Marinos, he's playing under another Aussie, Kevin Muscat, and I believe that Yokohama are still playing a similar way to the way Ange played when he was in charge there. So Maeda wouldn't take too long to adapt to certainly Ange, probably not to Celtic. Obviously, it would still be a huge switch from Japan over to Scotland, but as we've seen so far with Kyogo and even players like Nakamura in the past who made such a quick introduction, it doesn't have to be quite as daunting perhaps as some people would make out. I've already spoken about his versatility, the fact he would give us another option on the left, on the right, behind the striker, up front. He scores goals as well, which is always handy. He works really, really hard. That was summed up by a pretty incredible stat/graphic released by the J-League, I think last month, that basically listed players by the amount of sprints they've done per match. So they had the kind of top 10 entries, I think, of the season so far. And of the top 10, Maeda had 8 of them. Pretty incredible. He even managed 64 in one match. Kyogo in there too, as you can see. So he works hard and he's lightning quick. I probably actually didn't give him credit last week for saying just how quick he is when he gets up to that top speed. There's been loads of videos going about today in social media. You'll probably find them in YouTube as well, of just how quick this guy is. He may even be quicker than Kyogo. I don't know if that's a crazy thing to say. Basically, if we sign him, we can race him round Lennoxtown and see who gets the crown. He should be available for an affordable price because we got Kyogo, who I think is probably even a level up from Maeda in terms of just an overall footballer. We managed to sign him for a pretty affordable price, so hopefully this is one Celtic are looking at. Basically, this whole deal is a huge yes from me. Right, other news, Karamoko Dembele posted an injury update on Instagram yesterday. This is just how things kind of work nowadays. He said he's had to have surgery on his ankle after some problems with the healing process. He was last seen in the pre-season friendly against Bristol City. I think our third pre-season match of the season. He had a terrible challenge put into him in the first half of that match, has been missing ever since. We've not really got a timescale for his return, but it goes without saying we wish him all the best in his recovery. It would be great just to have him back and add yet another option to the wings, which are starting to look a little bit crowded now. Jozo Simunovic also had some news. He has finally found his next club. He has signed for HNK Gorica, apologies for the pronunciation, in his homeland Croatia. That's the same team that Christian Lovric plays for. So if you just want to have a wee word with Lovric, well, I suppose we've got Jota now, so Lovric is kind of an afterthought. But well done to Jozo on finally finding his next club. A hell of a wait for him after leaving Celtic in May 2020. Real Betis and Leverkusen played last night in the Europa League. They played out a 1-1 draw. Betis took the lead kind of late on from the penalty spot. Penalty given away by former Celt Jeremy Frimpong. Thanks a lot, Jeremy. Really needed that. Thankfully, Leverkusen did score late on, 7 minutes from time, to grab a point in that game. It's not a terrible result for us. It all really depends on the next match day. I think we have to go to Hungary and take 3 points. If Leverkusen Betis finishes in a draw, or if Leverkusen beat Betis in Germany, then, you know, things could be about to get very interesting. Of course, last game of the group stage, we have Real Betis in Glasgow, and Celtic have announced that that match has sold out. So a lot of Celtic fans getting a little bit excited about the prospect of a final match day showdown with the Spanish side. But obviously, a lot still has to happen between now and then. Right, St Johnstone tomorrow at Celtic Park. As I said earlier in the video, a meeting of the two most successful teams in Scottish football over the last number of years. They obviously had an incredible season last year, winning both domestic cups. They haven't started this campaign off so well. They're currently sitting in 8th in the league table with just 9 points from 9 games. So a good opportunity for us, I think, to get 3 more points tomorrow and really build on that team performance from Tuesday. Ange had his pre-match press conference about 20 minutes ago. I was kind of waiting on that happening so I could record this video. He gave an injury update, a couple of bits of promising news. Josip Juranovic and James McCarthy are back in contention for tomorrow to be in the matchday squad. James Forrest and Christopher Julian are not back, but Ange is hopeful that Forrest will be back in training from Monday. So that is obviously great news. In terms of my predicted 11 for tomorrow, I'm going with Joe Hart in goals, a back four of Anthony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Carol Starfelt, and making his paradise return, Bolly Bolingoli. In the midfield, I've got Callum McGregor, David Turnbull and Tom Rogic. On the right, I've got Jota. On the left, I've gone for Mikey Johnson. And through the middle, it's that man Kyogo. So a couple of changes there for me from Tuesday. I think Bolly coming in is an obvious one. I think he's probably the best left back at the club. I know Montgomery kind of seemed to pick up a little injury on Tuesday as well. So I would just go with Bolly for this one. And also in an attacking sense, I think Abada is just struggling a little bit at the moment. And I think we now have an option to take him out of the team. Mikey Johnson looked electric when he came on Tuesday. Whether he's ready to play, even 60, 70 minutes, let alone 90, is a debate. And obviously, if you're inside the Celtic camp, you'll have a far greater idea of that. But I just thought Mikey Johnson looked great. He has a good record against St Johnstone. I remember him playing great in a 7-0 win at the start of the 2019-2020 season. So I would love to see him repeat that tomorrow. And I just think him coming in for Abada, moving Jota to the right, would be a great thing to do. I know people are also looking at Giakoumakis possibly starting tomorrow. I get that point. I just think Celtic are a far better team with Kyogo through the middle, and I'd like to see us continue doing that. Hopefully put the game to bed relatively early on and start looking forward to what is a huge game on Wednesday night away to Hibs. But off the bench tomorrow, Giakoumakis, Abada, Juranovic, I'd quite like to see him, and James McCarthy's on the bench as well, along with the likes of Beaton and Ajeti, hopefully. So there's plenty of options at Celtic now, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Right, competition time, probably the main reason you're watching this video. It's time to find a winner for our Ange Trust the Process mugs. Just a wee quick reminder, I bought 2 of them. I'm going to be keeping this one, and I'm going to give this one out to one of you lucky people in literally seconds. It's got 67 Hail Hail logo at the back as well, so that you always think of us as well as thinking of Ange. What you had to do in yesterday's video was comment with those 3 words, trust the process. Thanks to everyone who entered. I think 191 of you, which kind of blew my mind a little bit, but they are nice mugs. If you're watching this on demand, please don't bother voting, as you may waste your money and your vote won't be counted. I've always wanted to say that. But no, let's just get on with the winner here. I've put all the comments of the trust the process phrase into this raffle picker, really. So I'm just going to click this start button and let's see how it goes. Do you see your name there? Who's the winner? Steve B has won this. So Steve, I'm going to try and find you, and that sounded quite strange, but I'm going to try and find out more about you. That also sounds strange. I'm going to get in touch with you, Steve, and well done, mate. You've won this very mug. Hope it serves a nice drink and all that kind of stuff. Thanks everyone for entering though. We are back tomorrow with the reaction to Celtic versus St Johnstone. Take care and hail hail.